Hey. Welcome to another video. I'm Nissa. I'm the most Nyssafied Nissa that you'll ever meet, and I am autistic. Okay, what are we talking about? I want to share an experience that I had with you all. I work full time. I have done most of my life. Like, since I was legally allowed to have a job, I've had a job. But I had to do this piece of training, and it was not created by my workplace at all. It was just something that we need to do, but it was not created by them. It was actually created by a disability organisation, group, whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to call them out because at the end of the day, they're trying to do the right thing. They're trying to spread awareness and acceptance. They're trying to educate people. So what they're trying to do, it has meaning, and I respect it, and I actually really appreciate it. But at the same time, we're so far behind. There's just so much more that we actually need to do now that I think about it. And now I'm, selfish in a way, because I never really thought about this too much until I realised that I was autistic, which is technically a disability. Like, I don't know. You can't compare all things, can you? And everyone is different. Everyone is so different. So, but anyway, part of this online course thingy was it was around disabilities, and it mentioned autism throughout the thing that I was doing. Cool that they mentioned autism. But there's just one thing. I need to get my phone because I want to quote this word for word. And I want you to put this into perspective by thinking about it. If you don't know anyone that is autistic and you know very little about autism, what then you would take from this? Okay. So, this was for disability-specific tips. So here it says, here are some disability-specific tips. This section doesn't cover all disability types, but can help you to start thinking about things to consider. So remember, when in doubt, ask people how best to communicate with them. So yeah, please just remember to ask me how you'd like to communicate with me. In actual fact, just treat me like everybody else. But if I say to you I'm not understanding, or I'm not getting something, or I just have a blank look on my face, kind of maybe just check in and make sure I am getting what you're saying. But yeah, just ask the actual person, because how you communicate with somebody else who's autistic is not going to be the same as how you would communicate with me or somebody else. It's all going to vary depending on the individual. But alright, back to where I wanted to get to. So it runs through different types of disabilities that people can have. And then it comes to autism, which, of course, my bias is the one I'm most interested in right now. So this is the tip that it gives. It only gives one tip. Just one. One tip. Here it is. Avoid using idioms like take a chair, as a person with autism may take the literal meaning and pick up the chair. Instead, ask, would you like to sit down? Okay. There may be a bunch of autistic people out there that would literally take that as is and be like, cool, you're asking me to take a chair. Where am I going to take it? Do you want me to take it out of this particular space, or take it home with me, or whatever? So yes, 100%. That's the thing. Like, people can do that. I feel like even children or people that have English as a second language, if you were to say that to someone, they may not actually fully get what you're implying, what you think is the right thing to say. Because it's really important there to mention that it's what you say. So you, being a neurotypical person, might think that that's the right thing to say. That doesn't mean me, as a neurodiverse person is going to think the exact same way. We don't. Our brains work differently. But the point that I want to make here is that you don't have to go that literal with me and say, hey, would you like to take a seat? Because that's probably going to lead to the opposite, where I turn around and I'm like, in my head, I probably wouldn't actually say this verbally, but in my head I'm just like, no, I actually don't want to take a seat right now, but I will take a seat because I know what you mean. You mean sit down. So there we go. There's a third way of actually putting it. Sit down. So no, I'm not going to, if I went to a restaurant and someone was like, please take a seat, I'm not actually going to pick up the seat and run down the road. I'm not going to do that. And I am autistic. I just feel like this representation, which was just literally this one thing, does not represent autistic people very well at all. This is this is not, my workplace didn't create this at all. They are truly trying to do the right thing. But the people that have made this, sorry guys, but you've actually missed such a big opportunity to do so much more. And I feel like I really question, did you ask any autistic person for their opinion when coming up with this material? Because if you honestly said that you did, I'm going to be blown away. I'm going to be blown away that an autistic person has said to you that's the only tip that you would give other people that you work with. That just blows my mind. Blows my mind. If I I am really confident that if a lot of people don't know I'm autistic, so if I went and actually, if someone did this training and then I went up to them and I was like, oh, hey, how did you go with this training? What did you think of it? And they'd probably be like, oh yeah, it's really informative. That's great. And if I was to say to them, oh, I'm autistic, I don't think they're actually still going to know what that even means. Like, how are you going to understand somebody from one sentence? How about putting some of the stuff that's pretty typical? Like, we struggle with social skills. We struggle with reading people's faces and reactions to things. How about literally knowing that for me, it takes a lot of energy to literally simply say hello. To do that, it doesn't feel normal to me. It's not natural to go into a building and say hello to 20 different people. But I do it because I know I need to do it. It's part of, it's been distilled into me for years and years now that's what you do. So I will try and do it as much as I can. But what happens if everyone just knew that, hey, Nyssa, as an autistic person, doesn't actually like saying hello? It's not that I don't care about people, and it's not that I don't want to interact with people at times. It's got nothing to do. It's not like I'm disrespecting people, or I'm like, I don't like that person, so I don't want to say hello. It's just not. It just doesn't come easy to me to say hello. So even just having that written in there would be so much more helpful, in my opinion. Anyway, I'd actually like to know what you think. From that sentence, do you get much? Does it explain autism to you? I'm keen to know, because my brain's my brain. It's different to most people's, so yeah, generally I would, tell me, hit me up and tell me what you actually think.